Hello, everyone. So it is time to go through some of the recent updates from the Atlassian ecosystem. And this week, we'll be talking about few things that are really interesting, especially talking about Jira service management. Now, recently, we noticed this post on the community about early access program for workforce optimization. And when we looked at the post, we realized that this can be, this particular feature or these capabilities can be expanded to Jira software as well, like Jira in general. But this is interesting because if you're trying to do some kind of work management or trying to assign the tickets to your teams, especially agents, then you need some logic, you need some capabilities within the tool that can help you. Now, usually when it comes to JSM, by the way, JSM or Jira Service Management, when we use it, we normally are trying to follow ITSM, and ITSM is of course well-defined, very mature process, and irrespective of the tool that you're using, maybe you're using ServiceNow or Jira Service Management or some other tool, ITSM practices are very old. These are not really new practices, but ITSM, of course, talks a lot about the process and how we can serve the customer better. But there are few things like capacity management and availability, right? Also, SLAs across different time zones. And one thing which is actually really interesting here is, and that is skill management. So these things, and by the way, skill management is something that we all know. When we were using Portfolio, we had this feature. It's called skill management or skills, although it was a bit complicated to use, and I have a lot of videos on that topic. Unfortunately, Portfolio for Jira is no longer there. We have advanced roadmaps or plans, but skill management in Jira Service Management can be useful. So there is a video, by the way, here.
Hi, I'm
If you
Hemant.
want
And
to
today we are
learn
going
about
to.
it, if you want to know more about how this will work or this can work, you can take a look. So this is, of course, a video that is highlighting or showing how these features can eventually work. So do take a look, by the way, and I believe you can create some kind of a roster, right? And you can also define the team who will be working on it, and on what days they will be working on it. So this is interesting because this is of course very much needed. Usually, when it comes to scheduling or capacity management or skill management, all of this is done manually, right? You basically just work on those tickets as it comes. You have like a level 1 support, and their responsibility is to acknowledge the ticket and resolve it if they can. If not, they will transfer it to level 2 or escalate it, or maybe they will create a problem out of it, something like that. But when it comes to these capabilities within Jira service management, I think this would be very much appreciated. I'm not really sure whether this will be available for premium. I hope so, to be honest, also a paid plan. Even if you are not using a premium version of Jira, maybe you're a small company and you're just starting. So I think these features can be useful irrespective of your plan. But yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on this. If you want to get part, take part in, or maybe you want to evaluate this. So by the way, this is an early access program. So feel free to sign up here, and maybe you will get a response or an invite from Atlassian. So do take a look. This is definitely interesting. The next thing that I want to talk about is Loom. Now, I have tried Loom briefly, and I know Loom uh, has or talking about automations in general, you can actually connect it to Loom or do something with Loom. And Loom is, of course, a tool that was acquired by Atlassian, and my clients have not started using it, but they keep on asking me. And usually, as a consultant, as a Jira consultant, someone who is doing consultancy around Atlassian tools, we have to always like keep an eye on new features or new tools. Loom is something which is useful, and I think one concern was that people were not really sure how to reach out to Loom support. So I noticed this post on the community where Brittany is talking about how to get hold of Loom support, and usually Atlassian support in general is quite good. I actually quite like the way they respond to tickets, and they're always helpful. Like, I think that is the idea. So whenever I raise a ticket for Atlassian, they respond and they are always keen to help. They sometimes get on a call, and they just want to help you, which is really good. So Loom is, of course, now it is, of course, a product of Atlassian. They are responsible for it, and they have just explained here how to just raise a ticket, and how to get the information about your plan or your billing or licensing. So just to take a look at this post if you have time, especially if you're using Loom or if you're considering to use Loom. One thing which I, of course, mentioned is that Loom can actually, I've seen some actions in automation rules where you can do something with Loom. And that is actually really interesting. For example, if I go to Confluence, and by the way, I have been making videos on Confluence automations, because Confluence automations are definitely, as compared to Jira automations, Confluence automations are new. Not like recently new, but you can do a lot of wonderful things with Confluence. So let me just show you very quickly. If I go to my Confluence, I was just actually looking at Jira. With this unified interface, you sometimes forget that whether you're in Jira or Confluence. And by the way, if you're listening to this on your mobile phone as a podcast, just go to your Confluence automations if you have access to it, and maybe you can try to search for one of the template. I think there was one template. Yeah, so it says here, when a meeting is recorded by Loom, allocate task to Jira, summarize the meeting and send summary on Slack. So you can actually see that a lot is happening here. So if you look at the rule itself, it says here the trigger is when a meeting is recorded by Loom, then you want to simply create some action item in Jira. Then you may want to also create a transcript, which is, of course, going to use this Rovo agent, transcript insight reporter, and then you can publish a page, and maybe you can also send a message. So maybe in your meeting, if you had any action item, or maybe you want to just review what you discussed, you can actually do these things. And good thing is that you are not really, for this you have to be using Loom, right? Maybe, I'm sure soon we'll have this same integration with Teams or Google Meet, or maybe Zoom, I guess, because all of these online meeting tools, they have the option to create transcripts on the fly. But Loom is something that is from Atlassian, so we can expect a very nice integration with other Atlassian tools. So this is something that you can look at, but what I wanted to talk about is that the support part, and Atlassian is trying to share ways you can reach out to them. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about, which I noticed on the community, is dependencies in Align. Now, Jira Align is another tool from Atlassian, in case you don't know, and Jira Align is a tool for doing planning, keeping track of your work, and Jira Align is, of course, a tool where you can actually look at your goals and capabilities, and you can look at your strategies, and you just want to know the overall progress of your work. Imagine that you're a program manager, you're working in a big bank, and you have some goals for your organization, maybe for your business unit, maybe for your country, and you want to do a few things at a very high level for you, of course. But when it comes to the actual delivery, things are, of course, tracked in Jira. In Jira, of course, we have the hierarchy. We can create levels above your epic, like maybe initiatives or capabilities. So imagine you are someone who is just interested in the capabilities and you don't really want to care about the day-to-day activities. So you can definitely use Jira Line. Jira Line is mostly used by big companies, not really a small or medium-sized company, but Jira Line has received some updates, especially around dependencies. So I was just going through this post. I will, of course, share the link in the description, or you can actually go to the post and you can actually learn about these dependencies in Jira Line. So I believe someone who is trying to plan and trying to figure out the overall status and progress of your goals or initiatives, and you just want to focus on dependencies, like what is blocking you, what all you need to do for this particular piece of work to move forward, you can definitely use this new feature, dependency. Of course, Jira Line works with Jira, so you of course have to connect it to Jira and take some help from a Jira consultant or Jira Line consultants. But this is something that you can definitely play with. So yeah, I just wanted to briefly mention that there is a dependency object in Jira Line. And the next thing, which is really interesting that I want to talk about, is Atlassian community event in Kathmandu. So I had no idea that there is an Atlassian community in Nepal, in Kathmandu, and I was actually reading this post. It says here Atlassian community conference. So it is basically, it seems like a big event, and it seems like a lot is happening. It is happening in Hotel Marriott, Kathmandu, and they have mentioned here that they are expecting around 200 attendees, and I believe this event, if I look at the agenda, so there are a lot of speakers, and there are, I believe, people from Atlassian. So this is really interesting. This is really interesting because now we know that people are using Atlassian tools, and there is a community in Nepal as well. So I was just going through going through the agenda. So by the way, this event is happening on Sunday next week. Like I think it is around, like in the morning. I think it's a morning event. So 3 a.m. on 28th of March, Saturday. Oh no, not Sunday. Saturday. It's Saturday, 28th of March. So 3 a.m. is 8:30 India time. So it should be I think 9 o'clock, I guess, because I think Nepal is 4 hours ahead of, or 6 hours ahead of GMT. So GMT to Nepal time. Okay, maybe they follow IST. I have no idea. No, I think they follow their own Nepal time, which is 5 hours 45 minutes ahead of GMT. So 15 minutes ahead of India. Okay, fine. So good to know. And I was just going through the agenda. It says, okay, registration and tea, welcome speech. Then there is a session about transformation with SDLC, and beyond the tools, mastering Atlassian system of work, and lunch. Okay, so quite a lot. And it seems like it is like a whole day event. Okay, so this is good. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be there. But I've never been to Nepal, by the way. Maybe one day, but yeah, this is really good to good for everyone. I mean, good to see that there is a event and especially a community in Nepal. Okay, perfect. So the next thing that I want to talk about is this blog post, which is about automation rules. Now we talk a lot about automation rules, and recently I also made a video on how to monitor your service limits and how to create some rules to actually get notified when those service limits are about to be breached. So we also elaborated that particular topic into this blog post. So this blog post, if you have time, if you want to share it with your team members, please go through it. You will definitely learn a lot. And of course, watch the video if you are interested. Okay, perfect. So this is about the blog post. The last thing that I want to talk about is the series of videos that I have just started creating, and that is Confluence automations. And recently, when I was playing with Confluence automations, I tried changing the status, and I thought I have never really talked about statuses in Confluence. So in this video, what are statuses? I basically mentioned how you can configure or enable statuses in your space for those pages, and what those statuses are. They are of course not really like Jira statuses, but Confluence statuses can be used to just reflect or to show you to your users, okay, this particular page is in draft, although it is published, but it is probably not really ready for viewing, or don't take it seriously, or maybe it's a verified status. And you can also change those statuses automatically using automation rules. So this is something that you can do. Maybe you want to edit the page, and whenever the page is edited, maybe you want the page to be sent out to someone for reviewing. So you change the status, and you also create a ticket in Jira for review. So this is something that you can do. But in this video, I just wanted to focus on what is a status in Confluence. And yeah, that is it. That is all I wanted to talk about and show you in this session, in this video, in this podcast. The whole idea of these sessions is to basically help you with all the recent things that are happening. We basically want to update you and also learn. We keep on learning new things that are happening in the Atlassian ecosystem, but one thing that is really important is to always be on top of things. So if you don't know what Loom is, maybe you want to learn about Loom. If you don't know what Jira Line is, maybe you want to learn about Jira Line. If you don't know what are Confluence automation rules, so you want to learn about those things. So this Atlassian update session is all about learning about new things that are happening in the Atlassian ecosystem. So please subscribe, and if you are looking for any help, if you think in your organization you need professional help, then we can also help you. So we provide Atlassian consultancy services. Just go to our website, Sparxsys.com, or you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, and we can discuss your requirements. Okay, that is it. I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to this session, and you also learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.